Welcome to selfdiscoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Building Your Business right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my guest today is Miriam Villegas. How do I pronounce that, love?
It is Miriam Villegas. Hi, Sarah. Hello,
Villegas.
how
You
are
see, I
you?
wouldn't have got that. I was on her show a little while ago, which was absolute honor to be there. But we're going to be talking about a number of things today. Like we talk about business, but we've also got to remember you are your business and your life is your business. So this is cross spectrum right here. She says you can go beyond what you think. It is possible. Her daughter was born at 27 weeks, and because of the wrong medicine, she also ended up with a feeding tube. Doctors were saying to prepare for the long-term issues. However, she told herself, I am not going to be a special needs mom. And she set the goal that she'll be healthy. And at 4 years later, got the tube out and she's completely normal, goes to school, normal school, and is the happiest toddler ever. Miriam is a successful mind coach successful person. She is mentored and trained by Bob Proctor. I think we all know that name, one of the greatest teachers in the world on the topic of human potential and growth. She helps female entrepreneurs to multiply their income by applying powerful mindset techniques that can live a fulfilled and rich lives by thinking into the results, getting the confidence they need, believing in themselves, breaking through their fears, and aligning their vision with their actions. We're going to be talking a great deal more here, but let's just get right to it because I made a screw up here today with the time. So we don't want to waste any of it. Um, you know, when we face those challenges, personal ones, especially when it becomes our children, it is, if we have to face something, we'll have a little moan and then we face it. But when it's actually our children, it's a totally different scenario, isn't it? And much, much harder to actually face. And I imagine a great deal first is the emotion of panic and the emotion of helplessness and the emotion of all of that before you can actually even start to think positive. Welcome to the show, hon.
Exactly. So it was a shock, honestly, when they told me that I had to go get her. So let me back up a little bit. I was just having a really bad pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
And as it was the first pregnancy, everybody was telling me, oh, you're in pain. This is just normal. Your back hurts. It's just normal. And I was not understanding how that level of pain could be normal.
Mm-hmm.
But because everybody was telling me it was, I was not going to the doctor and I was feeling it for weeks. So when I finally was in a state where I could barely move, and my husband said, you look really, really bad. You better go to the doctor. And so I went, and immediately they kept me in the hospital because they diagnosed me with HELP syndrome. And this is a illness that moms get when the body basically does not want to be pregnant anymore.
Yeah.
So it starts to intoxicate the mother's organs
Mm.
to get rid of the baby. And it starts with the blood pressure goes up, and it goes then a step further to really intoxicating those organs. Liver enzymes go crazy and everything that you can imagine. This is why I was so in pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
What also had happened is that they noticed that she had stopped growing at week 23 already because of that high blood pressure, that she was not getting enough nutrition back then, right? However, the best place for a baby is the womb, so they tried to hold her, and they were able to hold her for only 10 more days. And then we had to go for an emergency C-section. And Sarah, she was the tiniest little baby that I've ever seen. She actually did not look like a baby, to be honest. She looked more like, I always say like an alien. My husband hates when I say that, but it was basically skin and bones, right?
Mm.
There was no meat on it. She wasn't. like a baby that's not ready. I mean, this
I
is how
wasn't
it
ready.
was.
I mean, God, so
Exactly.
many weeks. Yes.
Yeah. So they prepared us for anything, and nobody could tell us what the outcome would be. Would she be normal?
Hmm.
We can't tell you it's too early. Will she be able to see? Will she be able to talk? Will she be able to walk? We can't tell you it's too early. But all the babies, so this is what I said, all the babies that are born so early usually have something. So you might want to prepare yourself for long-term issues. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my whole world broke down, you know. I'm
Yes.
like, I don't want this. You don't want to hear that when you're a mom, a first-time
Yes.
mom.
Anytime, Mum, quite honestly, anytime. You
Yeah,
don't want to hear anything happening to your child. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And then I'm like, how does this look? How is my life going to change? You know, you have all sorts of scenarios go through your head at that moment. And then she was growing well. She reacted well to the incubator. So this was a good thing. She started eating, was also a good thing. However, she was tiny and she needed to grow. So we already spent 4 months in an NICU. In total, we spent 6 months in an NICU. So this is another thing that you have to go home as a mom and leave your baby behind, you
Oh,
know?
yes. Mm.
So when we were 4 months in, this is when they gave her a medicine because she thought she had thrush or whatever it was. Gave her different medicines and it didn't work. And then my husband already said, well, maybe she does not have thrush. You know,
Hmm.
have you considered that? If you gave her 3, 4 different medicines and it didn't work, but it must be thrush, and we need to give her one more, and just. And we had both a weird feeling, Sarah.
Yes. They don't listen to the feelings of parents, that's for sure. They always know
Exactly.
better. Yeah,
And you know what? He was in a better state than I was back then because I was emotionally completely drowned,
of course.
you know, and also dealing with all those hormones. All of the sudden, the baby was
Hmm.
out. You know how it is when you're
Hmm.
freshly mom, right? And he was more going by his head. And then he says, I can't believe that this is really what you're saying it is. So we should not give her that other medicine. But the doctors, they did not give up. They just talked us into it, and we need to do it, and we need to do it. And then at some point we agreed, and the last medicine burned her mouth and esophagus because
Oh,
she did not
God.
have thrush, you know. But they found out later because they did tests, obviously, and the test took, I'm not sure how it, maybe a week or something, and they didn't want to wait so long. But when the test came back, it basically showed it was not what they have treated her for. And
And they'd given her 4 types of medication up until that point for something she didn't have.
exactly, exactly. And the last one burned her mouth and esophagus.
Poor
And
little thing.
this was for me the breaking point, I
Yeah.
tell you the truth. So I said, and I want to leave this hospital. So I arranged, this was a whole other story, which I don't want to go into detail, but it took me a while until I really got approved to leave from one hospital to another one. I said, I want to go to the children's hospital. I want to see a specialist. I do not trust those doctors anymore.
Mm.
Nobody touches my baby. And I got really, really crazy.
Yes.
But you know, you're such in a protective mode. Stuff like that happens, you know. So we transferred, they placed a feeding tube, and then I was sitting there, I'm like, ugh. I'm like, so before I had hope, you know, that everything goes well, that I'm not a special needs mom, but now I'm definitely am
Mm.
a special needs mom because now I have the tube to deal with. And I don't know what other issues she might have, you know. So at the beginning I was devastated. And at some point, because of the mindset work that I was doing
Yes.
over all those years, it was like somebody was shaking me. It was like you're flipping a light switch, you
Yeah.
know? And then you're like, what am I doing here?
Hmm.
And then I was sitting there, I'm like, oh my gosh, do not listen to those doctors. Do not listen or do not look at your circumstances because you create them. What do you want to be? I do not want to be a special needs mom. What do you want to have? I want to have a healthy baby.
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, so now let's turn that situation around. Let's work towards she is healthy. I
Yes.
do not, because they couldn't tell yet, you know, her brain was not
Right.
developed yet.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm like, they don't know. It's just assumption.
Hmm.
I'm like, it's so early and I can turn this around. I'm like, okay, I do not accept that she is handicapped. She's special needs. My baby is normal and will be normal and everything will turn out just fine. And she will eat at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I started to look at things differently. And then I got her home. And I was so overwhelmed because I had to feed her every 3 hours and the feeding was over 1 hour. So I had a 2 hour window where I was able to do things. And I'm like, it drove me nuts. You know what? My whole life was led by those feedings and I
Yes.
hated it. I felt like I wasn't here anymore. I was just a shell that was here to serve those feedings so that
Mm-hmm.
she could grow. And it sounds really bad, but I was in a really, really dark spot at that time.
There's also the back of your mind that this didn't have to be. If they
Exactly.
hadn't forced the medication on her, you wouldn't be doing this. And although your mother side of you is, I need to do this for her whole survival, at the same time resenting having to do it because of somebody else is forcing their agenda
Yeah,
on you.
exactly. Exactly. So you have so many thoughts
Mm-hmm.
going through your head, you know, and you ask yourself, okay, is this my fault? What has happened? Is this my fault that she came so early? Did I do something wrong? You know, and also outside voices. I mean, I have heard comments that from part of the family, which it was not my mom, it was someone else, however, which are like, well, if you would not always run around barefoot. And I'm like, what does this have?
What?
So really,
Yeah, one
really,
desperately needing to have to put a blame on you, even though it was stupid, right? Yeah.
exactly. So,
Mm,
and there was more, you know, for example, I didn't have milk because she was so
mm,
early. And then comments like, well, because you don't drink enough of this or you don't consume enough of this is why you don't have milk. And then you're sitting here and you think, this is such a stupid comment. Why do I have to listen to this, you know? But at
mm-hmm.
the same moment, you're questioning yourself,
Yes.
does it really have to do with it? Even if you know
Especially
it's
when you're running on fatigue because you're not getting more than 2 hours in between every feed. You're
yeah.
running on emotion that, has been accumulated over several months. You're running on a little anger of what's happened. You're
Oh
running
yeah.
on the unknown. The last thing you need from the peanut gallery are opinions.
Exactly. Exactly. And this is, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. This is why I'm telling my story,
Mm-hmm.
because I wish I would have had support, someone that holds my hand and says,
Mm-hmm.
you can get through this,
Yeah.
you know? So once I really changed my focus, once I realized, wait a second,
Mm-hmm.
nothing is determined yet. I mean,
Yes.
they are all assuming, they're all having opinions. Nobody is asking me how I feel, what I want. Nobody looks at the baby, what you're capable of doing. I know that we can turn things around. I know that our mind is powerful. So I literally started very strategically talking to her. I always told her she's normal. I always told her she's super smart. When she was eating through the tube, I was telling her how good she was eating, that she's eating every time better. She was not eating anything, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I was not keeping her at home. First I was, until I got to the point where I get really frustrated that I can't do anything because of those strict feedings. And then I'm like, I don't care. I'm not sitting at home anymore. I just take her with me. I take the feeding pump with
Yes.
me. I take the
Yes.
feeding bag with me. And you know, she was back in a passenger seat in her baby seat. And that feeding bag, I hooked it up on that handle from the passenger seat.
Yeah.
I had the pump next to her and I was driving around feeding her,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
You
And I
you
did not,
you become innovative, right, on how to do things.
yeah, you become creative. You're
Mm.
like, I don't want to sit at home. So what do I do? And then you come up with all sorts of
Yes.
ideas, right? And when I had her in the stroller, I was hooking up the feeding bag on where you push the stroller, you know, all
Yeah.
sorts of things. And we even went to the beach with her, and the doctors were laughing at some point, but they said, I'm doing good because what I do is I treat her like a normal baby.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And then I also found doctors that supported me. Like one of those specialists, he was a GI doctor, gastro something,
Enteritis, yeah, yeah.
something like this. And he was a very young doctor, and he was very impressed of how I handled or approached that
Hmm.
situation. And he said, you know what, you're doing exactly the right thing. The worst what you can do right now is getting frustrated, sitting at home with your daughter,
Hmm.
and basically always say, oh, why me? And
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't care, and I'm doing this, and my baby's gonna be normal.
Well, if you had stayed at home and been the why me, your baby picks up that vibration and
Exactly.
doesn't know what's wrong or right. It's just picking up that frequency and it dampens their own frequency being able to rise. So by
Exactly.
going up, by doing things, by living a normal life, you've set the frequency, the tone in which she's going to live by. And as a baby, all they're doing is absorbing what's around them. And so if they're absorbing that positivity, that this is natural, this is normal, then they don't feel there's anything wrong.
Exactly. And you just mentioned something very important, the frequency,
Hmm.
right? So now let's take a look at the mindset, how the mind works. And because of the work that I have been doing, trained by Bob,
Hmm.
he always said, okay, little babies, the subconscious mind where our programming sits is really
Yes.
wide open until they turn about 5 or 6.
Until they go to
So I,
school.
yeah, basically, or to preschool.
Yeah.
So I knew that everything that she sees and comes to her through her senses, this is how she gets programmed.
Yes.
So this is why I was telling her all that good stuff,
Yeah.
that she is normal, that she's so smart, that she's eating so good, even though she was not eating.
Yeah.
And and I had mentioned this somewhere else, that somebody said, I would be lying to her. I would be lying to myself because I was telling her she was eating. It is not about lying. It is
Mhm.
about stepping into the higher version, the next version. So what do I want? I want her to eat. And I'm just operating on that level.
Of that high frequency, the encouragement frequency.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking from the end, what do I want? I want her to eat. So I treat her like if she would be eating,
Hmm.
because then I will tell her things like if she was eating, and
Yeah.
at some point she's going to believe it. What I did is I did not only program her, I also programmed myself, because the more I was telling her that, the more I was hearing it and the more I was believing it too.
Yes.
So it was for both of us. And I remember when we went to the restaurant, people were looking at us really, really weird because she was eating through the tube, and I was telling her how good she was eating, and she wasn't eating a bite.
Hmm.
you
Yeah,
know, like,
exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
So that judgment, that you also have to live with those looks that people look at you
But
weird.
the ignorance, people love to pass judgment or look at things that are weird. It's out of their realm of understanding. And what
Yeah,
happens when it's out of their realm of understanding, they become judgmental. And instead of asking, inquiring, why is the
exactly.
child eating from a tube? Do you mind me asking? Instead comes the judgment, and it's pure ignorance. And
Mhm.
when ignorance breeds fear, but human beings love to be judgmental, on especially of things they don't understand.
Exactly. And a whole lot of us, they don't know how that whole mindset
Yeah,
works. I mean, you know it because you are working with it for so long too.
yeah.
So this is basically what I did. I programmed both of us, and then all of a sudden, I was also talking to feeding therapists, speech therapists. They
Hmm.
call it speech, but they actually come to work with her on her eating and on her feeding, so that she can chew, swallow, and breathe at the same time.
Right.
And I was very lucky that I found someone, and she was such a sweet person. We're befriended now. I mean, when you work with someone for
Yeah.
so long, then they become family somehow, right? And she came in, and she was the only one that, Amaya is my daughter's name. So she tolerated to get close to her mouth because of what happened with the medicine. She was
Mhm.
traumatized and didn't let anybody close to her mouth.
Right. She didn't know why she was traumatized. She's not going to remember that as a little one, but
Yeah,
the The cellular fear is there, and they don't even know why it's there.
Exactly. So the only one that she allowed close to her mouth or to her face was Mama,
Hmm.
right?
Of
And
course.
then the lady came in, and then all of a sudden she led her to her face. And you know what she said to me about a year ago? Like I said, we're still befriended. And she said, Miriam, I still remember that the first day when I came to your house and Amaya led me close to her mouth and you looked at me. She said, you were totally crazy back then, but you looked at me and you said, you, you can come again because she let you close to her.
I mean, the whole journey that you've had there, and some people may be going, what's this got to do with business? It's the resilience, it's the belief, it's
Exactly.
the never giving up, it's the choosing to feed the good vibrations, it's choosing to think positively. Because if you're in a negative state of mind, this will never happen, I can't do it, it's hopeless, that's the energy you're feeding. But when you're
Yeah.
looking at, although it is unknown to me, although it is even terrifying to me, I am choosing to feed it positivity in a belief that
Mhm.
it will be. And that's a total different energy that you're feeding. And that's all what Bob Proctor's about, isn't it? It is
It is.
about feeding what you want to happen, not dictating necessarily,
Mhm.
feeding what you want to happen, the right energy. And what comes from that is always bigger than what we anticipated.
Exactly. And you just said what does this have to do with business, right? So the strategy is always the
Yes.
same.
Yes.
This was like this is why my tagline everywhere I go is go beyond what you think is possible,
Hmm.
because no one ever thought that it was possible that I would have a healthy normal baby. So
Yeah.
let me close up that story real quick and then go to the business. So it took me 4 years until we got the feeding tube out, but we got it out. And now she's normal. And like you said earlier, she goes to a normal school and is a happy and healthy toddler.
Right.
So it's totally incredible. Her doctors look at her. They know the ones that know her from very, very little, from very early on, and they say, she's a miracle baby.
Yeah.
How could this ever happen? You know, that there's nothing. I mean, we have really no issue at all.
Right. Yeah.
So for them, it is a miracle, you know, but for
No,
me,
it was,
it
it was
is
mama persistence.
exactly
Yeah.
persistent.
Yeah.
And what I have done is, so that strategy that I basically implemented with her, you can take the same strategy and implement it in
Exactly.
your business.
In any part of your life, you know,
Anyway,
I mean, people kind of segregate business from daily living. No, how you are as a person, how you
mhm,
conduct yourself in every aspect of your life, business, personal, even towards yourself, should
mhm,
be of the same frequency, should be in the
exactly.
same belief pattern. All you're doing is wearing different hats according to what it is that you're being presented with. But we can apply it to any aspect of our life, and we should, because that is the thing that helps us propel forward and beat the what people say can never happen. I mean, you look at it, a burnt throat, a burnt esophagus. Um, can she taste? You know, does she know when she's swallowing? Because that's scar tissue. But in a child, that tissue can regenerate much quicker than it can with an adult.
Mhm,
But the cellular trauma, knowing something that's been done to the pain, right? The cellular pain is there, although she won't understand it. But you didn't just shower her with love. You showered her with a vision of what she is becoming, a
mhm.
vision of what she can be. And if we don't give the universe the vision of what we would like to see happen, how does the universe know what to give us?
Exactly. Exactly. So this is a very important point. You need to know where you're going. So
Yeah.
you need to decide in your business, what do I want? You need to be very clear on, if it comes to revenue, become
Mm.
very clear on a number. How much money do you want to make? What do you want to do with the money?
Yes.
Or think about, what would the money do for me? Because here's the thing. When you start on manifesting, when you start on the process and you think about the number, I want to have, let's say, 7 figures in my business. The money alone won't do anything for you. It won't
No.
give you feeling, and the feeling is really what creates,
Yes.
you know?
Your why you're
Exactly.
doing it. Yeah.
So think about money alone. it's just money. It
Yeah.
doesn't really light
It's
us
a
up.
tool. It's a tool.
It's a tool,
Yeah.
exactly. But what would you do with that money?
Yeah.
Would you buy a house? Would you buy a car? So now let's get to all that materialistic stuff that really goes with it, right? Because the materialistic things, this is really what stirs your emotions. When you imagine how you would live in your new house, how your kids are running around, how you speed up on your new car, you know, where you would travel to, for example, you know, all those things. And this is really what creates those emotions, and emotions bring you in that frequency that you just had mentioned
Yes,
before.
exactly. Yeah,
So now,
you've got to know your why, you've got to know your picture. You know, it's like, well, I just want to be rich or I just want to be famous. Well, why do you want to be that?
exactly.
You know, is it because that's your validation, or do you have a message that you want to share far and wide? But I think a lot of people jump into something, they look at the money or they look at the likes or they look at the fame, but they don't look at the reason why. The universe works on the frequency of your heart and soul together. Right. And that's what sets your spirit free into action. And if your heart and soul are disconnected because your heart is not in it and you're not really listening to your soul, how can your spirit do the right action? So it's that alignment within self that you need, that then the universe picks up, and that frequency is back and forth like a beautiful fluidity.
Exactly. Yeah. In alignment. So let's take a look of who we really are, right?
Yeah.
So we are actually a spiritual being,
Yes.
and we have a body. Body is the one that's in a physical form, and we were given an intellect,
Yes.
you know.
Heart, soul, spirit, and brain intellect, not just one intellect. Yeah.
Exactly. And now we need to align those. And
Yes.
here's the thing, energy flows all the time, every day. We cannot stop it from flowing
It
to
doesn't sleep. It doesn't go on
and
strike.
through.
It doesn't have an agenda. It just is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But energy just is.
Yeah.
Think about this. The energy itself just is. It's not positive, it's not negative, it
Mm.
just is.
Yeah.
But what are you doing with that energy once it
Yes.
flows to you?
Yes.
You're making it either positive or negative. Your
What are the
thoughts,
intentions? Yeah.
your
Yeah.
thoughts are deciding
Yes.
if that energy, if you turn it into something positive or negative. And you choose your own thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So think about, you can take that energy and either think positive and focus on your positive things, or you can also take that energy and think about something negative, and then all your vibration is focused on something negative.
Yes.
So what do you want?
What
Would
do you
you
want to feed? What do you want to feed?
exactly.
Because whatever you feed is going to grow. If you get misery, you planted those seeds.
Exactly. Exactly. So now you take that thought, and I always explain it, it's like having a dough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people have issues with understanding the whole energy part. So let's talk about the dough. You just have a dough. What are you doing with the dough? The dough just is. The dough is no cookie, no bread, nothing. It's just
Like
dough.
a
So
blob.
now think about, what do you want to do with that dough? So the energy, let's say, is your dough. Now, do you want to bake Easter cookies, or do you want to have Santa Claus cookie? So what's the next step? Thought.
Mm-hmm.
And then you decide, oh, let's bake Easter cookies, for example. And then you go ahead and comes the action, and you really bake your cookies, right? You cut it out, put it in the oven. What did you get back as a physical result?
Mm-hmm.
Is the ready to eat Easter bunny cookie. And this is what you did with just that thing, what was neither negative or positive.
Right.
The dough. So now let's go back to the energy. What do you think? What are you doing with that energy? Do I want to focus on something positive or negative? I want to focus on something positive. And then, because you're focused on it positive, you also have a positive vibration. You're
Yes.
having positive action. Your action will be based on your thoughts, on the belief that you hold. So if you're starting your business, or if you're already in business for 10 years, doesn't really matter. But you say, I want to hit my 7 figures. And if you are not believing in that you can
Yeah.
achieve it, it won't happen. You really have to align everything, because if you believe, oh yeah, I'm totally capable of getting to those 7 figures, then your actions will be very different then if you think, oh, maybe I get to 7 figures, but I don't really know how could I do this?
Mm-hmm.
Others okay, but you know, so your actions will be very different when you doubt yourself
Yes,
than when you believe in yourself. Because
exactly.
if you believe in yourself and take the actions accordingly, then you are expecting the outcome to be 7 figures.
There's many a person I've interviewed that, you know, reach those 7 or more figures.
Mm-hmm.
And they've said, you know, I got there and then I realized I was being a slave to the number of figures, the hours that I had to put in, the this I had to put in, and I lost my why. And I think it's very, very important. If you want to reach those figures, understand why do you want to do it? Whom
Exactly.
do you want to serve? Because we're all here to serve one another. All right.
Mm-hmm.
What is the mission behind it? Because yes, when you have that right intent from the heart, I really want to do this for people. I'm willing to listen to the universal wisdom that's going to project that energy in the right place. And those 7 figures are going to do A, B, C, and D. Then the
Mm-hmm.
journey to those 7 figures is going to be a lot more pleasurable and also more meaningful. So don't just say, I want 7 figures. Why do you want them? What do you want to do with them? Whom are you serving in getting there? So I think that the intent of your why is
Mm-hmm.
very, very important in the energy being fed properly. Because so many people have just, I want the 7 figures, got there and go, well, what am I going to do with it now? I feel completely overworked or completely empty. I've got no meaningful purpose in life. I just know how to make 7 figures. So
Mm-hmm.
know your why. I think that's really important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I always suggest to really pick something that you are passionate about.
Yes. Yes.
Because if you're putting in those hours, you really want to do something that fulfills you, that brings you joy.
Yes. That's meaningful.
Um, it is meaningful,
Yeah.
exactly. So you really want to wake up in the morning and be excited to get to
Yes.
work, to be
Yes.
excited what you're doing, right? For example, yesterday I'm working on something very big right now, and you know that because you're part of it.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about this later. However, yesterday it was already 7:30, and then I had this idea. I was already in bed, and then I had this idea, and I'm like, oh, I no, I'm not waiting to. I can do this tomorrow. No, no, I'm not waiting. Gonna do this now.
Yeah, because that's when the innovation is there. You've got to act on it. Yes.
Exactly. But I did not do it. And it felt to me like I had to do it. No,
Yeah.
I get to do it.
Yes.
Why do I get to do it? Because I choose what I do. I am passionate about.
Yeah.
I love what I do,
Yeah.
you know? And it was really just a little adjustment to the website.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to adjust the wording, and it just came to me while I was relaxing. I'm like, oh, I could word this better. Let me do it now before I forget it,
Exactly. Or write
you
it
know?
down so you can do it later, but don't dismiss it
Exactly. And
because
then
it
I
doesn't come
went.
back again.
Exactly. And then I went and I was working until 9.
Yeah.
And then it was 9 and I looked at the clock. I'm like, oh, already 9. Well, that went by fast. And then I'm like, okay, now I go sleep. But it
Mhm.
did not feel like I had to do that. You know,
Right.
I chose to spend my evening like that, which for others might be work. For me, it's I love what I do. So it didn't feel
It's
like
when the
work.
innovation comes to you. And the thing is, we've got to actually understand when you are anxious or upset or
Mhm.
in fear, everything about your body crunches. And the
Mhm.
energy can't flow when you crunch up. Where does the chi go to? It's blocked, it's blocked, it's blocked all along the way. There is no solution to your problem in the crunching. But when you take the deep breath and you find that relaxation and you almost step out of whatever the problem is, a solution comes. And innovation, those, I don't know how many times in the middle of the night I've woken up with, ah, and if you don't do it straight away, it's either pick up the phone and record it or write it down or go and do it. Because
Yeah.
by the time the morning comes, you've forgotten. So you
Uh-huh.
do need to, that's when the innovation is because you are relaxed. You're at one with yourself. So pay
Mhm.
attention to that creativity. Allow yourself to be more relaxed because
Yes.
that's when it comes, but act on it straight away. Don't think, oh, I'll remember it in the morning because pretty well 99% you won't.
You won't, yeah. And you know what is funny? I put everything in my phone. So whenever I
Yes,
have an idea or
yes.
something, I pull my phone out and I put it in my notes section.
Hmm.
And when I was visiting my friend in California a couple months ago, we were walking by the beach. And I had an idea that came to me, and then I take my phone out and I write it in. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "No, I just put it on my to-do list, on my
Yes.
notes list, what I want
Yes.
to do." And she said, "Oh, I have heard people do this, but I've actually never saw it." It's like, it's so, you know, and the good thing is that no matter what idea I have it all there. And then when I have time to work on it,
Yes.
or on the next project, then I
Yeah.
just look at, okay, so this is next.
Hmm.
And because you're so creative in that moment,
Yeah.
and if it feels for you like you are working, then it's not, or it might not be the right choice for you.
Yeah. So, oh, we've got a brainstorm, 4 o'clock, everybody there. And it's like, nobody wants to be there and nobody's coming up with innovative ideas. Instead of saying, look, I'd like everybody to address this solution, this problem. Let's all meet tomorrow and come with your ideas. And I think then you'll probably find all these people that through the night, through this, through that, the drive home from work, all of these ideas have come into their mind and they bring it to the table.
Mhm,
But when you kind of force it, it's
mhm.
like, well, I don't know, I can't think because you're trying to force it instead of allowing it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you have to let it flow. You really have
Yes,
to go with, I mean, the idea will come to you when it's supposed
yes,
to come
the
to you.
organicness of it. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And in order to get it, you need to be relaxed. You need to be in a really good mood. This is why it's so important that we're taking care of ourselves.
Yes.
So what I suggest to every single one of my clients is that pick a time in the week and really block it out and do some self-care. So what I
Mm.
do, I go every 2 weeks and get a massage, and then I go
Hmm.
and get my nails done. I then I do
Pamper yourself, right? You
hot
just
yoga,
rejuvenate yourself.
whatever
Yeah,
you like. Pick
yeah,
something
yep,
what brings you down, what relaxes you. Because when you're always like go, 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 go,
yeah,
I mean, you need to also recharge your energy somehow. Yes, we have energy flow to and through
all the
ourselves,
time.
but you also need to do something for you that brings you joy, you know? And
Otherwise, your
when,
energy and you can be out of sync,
yeah,
right? So it's putting yourself back in sync, right?
yeah.
And it is this is not spoiling yourself. This is just honoring yourself and
And
whatever you need to do.
yeah, embracing you and
Yeah.
embracing yourself and knowing that if I feel good, I can
Yes.
be more creative in my business.
Yeah.
I can be more effective in my business. When you feel good, you can accomplish in 6 hours what others need like 8 hours for.
Right. And this is what you see with people like, this is why in many of the workforces now, it's not the 8-hour day. There's certain things that need to be that, receptions, but da da da. But for a lot of innovators, it's you see them play golf, go flying, go for a jog, go for a ride on a horse, or walk on the beach, whatever it is, and they come back with and these ideas. It's like know yourself of how and when it comes to you and give yourself that space in order to receive it.
And the permission
The
to
permission,
receive it.
big one. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the permission to really take the time to yourself
Yes.
and realizing, okay, so if I feel good, then I also can be good in my business. Because everything is connected, right? So if
Yes.
you're not feeling good in your personal life, you will transfer that over to your business as well.
Oh, vice versa. I mean, it's
Same. Yeah.
we've got to realize we are our business. I don't care if you take off that hat when you go home, but you are your business. People want to know if they bump into you in the street, you're the same person that they've been doing business with. And people will buy you before they will buy from you. So are you authentic? Are you, organic in your approach to them? Do they feel, oh gosh, that person was much nicer when I was buying something from them, and now they've just dismissed me. You're not going to get a referral that way
Mhm.
at all. So that consistency of who you are and what you bring to the table, whether it's personal, whether it's business, whether it's friendship, love
Yeah.
life, it must be the same
Absolutely.
beautiful energy.
Exactly. And what is funny is I just had that discussion today with one of my clients because she wants to open a different business,
Mhm.
something new. And she knows what she wants to do. However, she is having doubts because others are
Mm-hmm.
selling the same product. And I explained it exactly what you just said. I said, look, people are buying you. They
Mm-hmm.
might not buy or not want to buy the product from Walmart or from Target because they want this product to be handmade.
Mm-hmm.
So they will come to you
Mm-hmm.
because there's no competition out there. It's people will buy this product from you because of who you are, how you did it, the love that you put into this product.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and
The
she would sit
personalization, right?
exactly.
Mm.
And it doesn't matter if you sell a product or if you sell a service,
Yeah.
whatever it is, people will always connect to the person who you are. They will connect to your story. Why are you doing what you're doing?
Exactly. This is why I call these the why shows. And, as you know, in filling out the form, it's the why show because why are you doing what you're doing? What journey have you taken? What happened to put you on this journey? Whom are you doing it for and how are you doing it? And if we can't answer those questions, then, it's not the what you're doing in like product or even the service, it's the why. And it's all that life experience that you've had, like, talking about your daughter, everything that you had to go through there, where you had to choose to think positively, even when it felt like it was negative or everybody around you was looking at it negatively. And you had to choose to think positive and believe and
Mhm,
paint the picture of where you wanted her to be and be consistent about that. And that perseverance has paid off. And it's
mhm.
the same approach to your life and the same approach to your work.
Exactly. The same approach to your business, and consistency plays a really, really
Yeah.
big role. But you only can be consistent and persistent when you have the love for something.
Yes.
Because people will realize if you don't love what you're doing,
Right.
you know? And if you don't love what you're doing, you also will fall off the train at some point. As soon
Yes.
as you hit a hurdle, you're like, this is too complicated. I'm not going to do this. Maybe I should do something else.
Yeah. That's
I
a
have
good indicator, if we would, I always say to people, if you would get up every morning and do it for free, then you're doing the right thing, right?
exactly.
Not that anybody should do anything for free. My show last week was on that. Make sure you are compensated for what you are doing,
Mhm.
and that are not being taken for granted. Are you being seen and are you being heard? We do a lot of that nowadays with people, and it should be, the barter system or the pay the person, the appreciation, and that needs to be there. So money is something that we all need, and we all need a certain amount of it to do what we need to do. But the appreciation of the person doing it is a different e-commerce altogether.
Mhm. And the service that you really give
Yeah,
to them
yeah,
is also equivalent of
yes.
how much you make.
Gratitude, right? When we step into something we love doing, we're very grateful that we have found the path of something we love to do so much.
Mhm.
Right? And when people receive that enthusiasm and that love and that passion that you're putting into them, that gratitude back is an energy that just keeps on expanding out.
Mhm. And think about, so this is something that I do every morning. So whenever I get up, before I even get up, I think about what I'm grateful for.
Yes.
And it's always the same things. But you know what? It doesn't matter if it's the same things because those details put me into the right energy. So, and I tell you what it is. I'm very grateful for my pillow.
Yeah.
I really love my pillow.
I'm grateful I woke up.
Because I realize when I travel and I don't have my pillow, I
Right.
don't sleep so good.
Right. Exactly. I've got a pillow that I travel back and forth with too. And it's like, yeah, it's the simple things. And that's something that you realize, isn't it, in life? It's those simple milestones, like when your daughter could finally eat on her own without the feeding tube, and when she can go to a normal school and she's not different, when all those naysayers, and here you are, you've proven them wrong. Not that that's
Yeah,
important, but it's important in the sense that you stuck by your guns. It's those small little milestones in life that build up, and they give you a different form of energy, of a reason to keep on going.
exactly. Yeah. And when you're grateful, this is what puts you in that energy, right? And once you
Yes.
are operating in that
Yes.
energy, this is what you're sending out. So
Yeah.
you want to be happy. That sounds cheesy, but you want to be happy all the time in order to be on that high frequency, and you actually can do that
Yes. And I
because
think
you
people need to actually understand something here. It's not, I'm happy. It is,
yeah,
I'm happy. And that kind of I am happy frequency is one that's a wavelength that is always going. You're in that frequency of being happy. If you're looking at, I'm happy, that's a high, and I guarantee you're going to have a low with it,
yeah,
right? So the happiness is that we're very content with who we are and where our life is going. And sometimes that it expands out, but it always goes back to that beautiful rhythm. The happiness is in the rhythm of life.
exactly. And I want to say something to the rhythm because you just gave me another keyword, which is important. And I want to show our listeners that not always everything is going well in your business.
Exactly.
No matter where you are in your business, you can just
Hmm.
start out or you can be 10 years in your business. But what people see about a successful person is they always see a straight line to the top.
Hmm.
But it is actually not a straight line. It goes like,
Mm-mm.
it is a zigzag to the
Yes.
top. But why is it a zigzag? Because I work a lot with the natural laws of the universe.
Hmm.
So you said it's the rhythm. It is the law of rhythm that
Hmm.
keeps you balanced. So whenever something does not work out immediately, don't think that it's a failure or you're
No,
a failure. It's
no.
absolutely not true. You might just not be ready yet
Or
for
the
the
synchronicity is
big
not ready
jump.
yet. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Whatever it is. But then just pivot. If it does not work out immediately, pivot. Look for a different solution.
Go down a different road. If the road that you're going is not suiting the vision, then maybe it's time to redirect. I don't believe in failure. Failure for me is people who just give up, give in and give up.
Exactly.
People who fall and pick themselves back up or have to redirect or have to go in a different thing, they're just
Mhm.
they're just broadening the possibilities.
Mhm.
Now, I've done 11 years of podcasting, and this month is my 10th year of my own network.
Mhm.
I had no idea what I was doing when I started. There really wasn't much out there to kind of gauge against because there
Mhm.
weren't many people with networks out there. And it was all a question of trial and tribulation. Did I do some things wrong? Yes. When I realized they were wrong, I corrected them and did them right. Are they right today? Maybe not. I can correct them even more. Oh, no, they're okay the way they are. And that's the thing in your business and in your life. It's a little bit like a cha-cha-cha all the time,
Yeah,
right? But
exactly.
if you do the cha-cha-cha with a little rhythm, it's not such a hard dance to dance.
Mhm. Yeah. And just have fun with your
Yeah,
cha-cha. Even
yeah,
so, if it's going left and you want it to go right, it doesn't
exactly.
matter. You're
Even if you
still
fall over.
okay. It is okay, right? So this is what it's all about, as long as you enjoy it. And this is
Yeah,
what I said before. If you have the love
yeah.
of what you do, then a little hurdle won't stop you from achieving. And
No,
when you have the belief that you get there,
yeah,
when you have the belief that you're succeeding, then there's nothing that stops you.
no. And also, I think it's the patience. Like, it was over 5 years ago, I was given a vision of where to take my business.
Mhm.
I didn't want to just be a podcasting. I was interviewing far too many people that were doing too many great things. So I wanted to expand on what they were doing. And
Mhm.
what I do when I'm given that vision, I have to make a graphic thing of it so that I see it. It
Mhm.
is my template. And then it was this person coming into my life, that person into my life. Is this the person to align with? Is this the person to align with? Give it a
Mhm.
try. No, it wasn't. It wasn't the right synergy. And then all of a sudden you find all of those people that you've met that you wanted to work with, they've all gone and done their own thing. And then they've come back and it's the right time. All
Yes.
right, for you then to follow and expand on. Now that was something I had to learn was just because I see it and it makes so much sense and I could do it today, it isn't the right time. You've got to wait for the alignment, the universal alignment, the people alignment, the synchronicity, and then when it's right, it's right.
Yeah. It's basically like planting flowers.
Yeah.
You're planting the seed whenever you have this idea, you're planting the seed in
Hmm.
your subconscious mind. but then you still have to wait, right? A flower, you don't plant it and then tomorrow you see the roses
Right.
bloom. No.
You got to water, you got
Everybody
to
knows.
nurture it. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. You're gonna
Yeah.
water it, nurture it, and you have to wait because
Yes.
there's a gestation period.
Uh-huh.
So they need, I don't know how long take roses, 6 weeks, 2 months until you
Depends
see
what
them.
flower there's.
I'm really bad with flowers.
I love them, but I don't know the timetable.
Exactly. But everybody knows that you have to wait for weeks
Yeah.
until you can see the flower bloom. And this is exactly how it works in your business. So first on, get really clear on what seed you want to plant. Where do you want to go?
Mm.
And then nurture it and water it. And be determined and persistent.
I think there's
Because
another analogy that you can do on that too, is if you're planting in your garden, don't plant flowers that are all going to come into bloom at the same time, because a lot of people have been defeated by sudden success. Plan that this flower is going to come into bloom then the next one then, and things that you can manage. Because a lot of people have failed for the fact that they've got so successful and they couldn't manage it. So plant your seeds of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then you can actually cope with the growth that's going to happen.
Yeah. And believe that you're able to do that. I want to tell
Yeah.
her a quick story. I was working with someone and she was very successful already when she came on, and she wanted to make way more money, sell way more product. And she did not allow herself to have that success.
Mm-hmm.
And this was very easy to analyze. Like the first, second session I saw what the problem was. So you need to put that seed in your subconscious mind that you are worthy of
Yes.
receiving that success.
Yes.
However that success might look for you, if it comes in the form of money, if it comes in the form of serving more clients. So don't think that if you set that goal and if you take your action steps, that you will get there. You have to align the belief in yourself
Yeah.
to make it happen, because you can say it, you can express the words, I do believe in myself that I can do that, but deep inside you might not believe that you're actually able of doing this, or you might have limiting beliefs that are holding you back, like, how can I have 50 clients at once? How do I do that? What would happen with my time? Or what would happen with my relationship if I all of a sudden make so much more money than my friends? Will they fall off? Will they ignore me? So you need to be very aware of what is your deep belief about yourself. Do you believe, like deep inside of you, that you can handle the clients, that you're worthy of having that money, that you're worthy of having that success, and that it's going to be easy for you to handle all this? Because only then you will also attract it to you. Only then it will happen. As long as you are scared of something, the universe will not make it happen, because deep inside you're not ready for it.
Exactly.
Right?
Awareness.
Awareness.
Be aware. What is your obstacle? Are you putting so much emphasis on that obstacle that the universe is confused? Do you want it or don't you want it? I'm giving you some energy, positive energy, but do you feel unworthy of it? So it is, I think we have to be aware and not beat ourselves up because we feel that way, because that's generally societal or upbringing condition that's been imposed upon you that's made you feel that way. But it's being aware that you do feel that way. That is perhaps your nemesis or your obstacle in your work. And it's to be aware when that comes up on how to put it back down again.
Exactly. And you also can have all the strategies in place. I have seen this a lot, that people have the strategies, and strategies have been working until a certain amount, which for them was okay. And once it really exceeds their self-worth, once it exceeded what they think they could achieve, it stopped.
Yeah.
And it was just flat, there was no progression anymore. And then they really need to work on their mindset, because this is the stopper here. If you have all the processes and they have always been working and all of a sudden it's not working anymore, it's you and it's your mindset. And this is why I have put something together. You know what is coming. So for everybody that is listening, I put exactly because of that a online event together. It is called Success by Design. And I want to show all those female entrepreneurs out there that you really can design the success that you want.
Yeah.
Because success is strategies in combination with mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, so once you combine both, this is when you really can go beyond what you think is possible. The same way what I do with my daughter. I
Yeah.
showed everybody that there's no limits.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what you can do in your business. And this is how it's connected again. The strategy is always the same. You know, when I started out, Sarah, I was buying strategies from different people. I think I had about 3 or 4. And I tried them out and they were really good and they were supposed to be amazing strategies. And they worked all right, but nothing wow. And then I
Yeah.
was wondering, like, what's the issue? Why is this not working? And then I was talking to a friend of mine, and she's also a Proctor Gallagher coach, a
Mm-hmm.
really successful one. Everybody knows her. And then she looked at me and she said, Miriam, you're doing this for so long now. So you have all the strategies you need. So what do you think is the issue? And
Mm-hmm.
I thought it must be me. And she said, So let me ask you this. From all the strategies that you have tried out, is there one strategy that you like more than any other? And I said, oh yeah, there's one strategy which I already liked when I tried it out, and I have modified it and I made it mine. So it really feels amazing when I do this, and I have so much fun doing it, and I love doing it. And she says, and this is the strategy you pick. And this
Yes.
is the strategies
That you stay with.
that you stay with, and
Yes.
that from now on, you're gonna believe this is the strategy that is working for you.
Yeah.
And this is the one you run with it. And then I'm like, wow, that was easy. I mean, why did I not
Yeah,
get
I
it?
know. We need an outside opinion. We do now and again. We need somebody else to just say something that makes the light bulb go on
Yeah,
because we're so busy doing that we're not always paying attention to, what's right in front of us. And as he said, you took one that you really liked, but you made it your own. It's
yeah.
like when somebody sings a very famous song, but they change it completely to such a point that we love it, even though it's totally different,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're going to, again, this point I'm about to make here is so very important. The people who love your strategy will be the people that love you and your energy. And those are
Exactly.
the people that you can serve the best.
Yes. And you also need to believe
Yeah.
that this is the strategy that works for you.
It's not for everyone. It's not all one size fits all. It's for
Yeah.
the people that believe in you and your energy, and therefore they will be able to use your product and ignite their own.
Uh-huh. And once I had that belief, so I did it again after I had that advice from her. I did the same strategy again, and my results were 4 times better than before.
Yeah. Because you were
Because
in flow.
I was in
You
flow, and
weren't
I
trying to
was
use this and that. You were being you.
exactly. I
Yeah.
was being me.
Yeah.
I made it mine. I
Yeah.
had so much fun doing it, and it was just internalized. This is the
Yes.
strategy that I run with now,
Right.
right? I enjoy doing that. And this is also why I put together that online event, because I wanted to bring together a collection of top experts, because I really want to show those female entrepreneurs what strategies are out there. So we will have 29 speakers, with me 30,
Mm-hmm. Yay.
over 14 days. And Sarah, you are one of those top experts, and you talk about
Thank you.
energy. So
Yes.
I'm so excited and honored to have you on there.
I'm I'm honored to be asked. Thank you.
And those 29 speakers really talk about the different strategies
Hmm.
that you can implement in your business. And every single one of them knows that only if you combine it with the right mindset,
Hmm.
only then it's working. So what I want to show my listeners with this is the strategy doesn't really matter. Pick one.
Yes.
Pick one that you like. Pick one that you enjoy doing, pick something that lights something up in you when you're doing
Yes.
it, and that you have fun with it. Believe that this is your strategy, align yourself, and boom, it's
Mhm.
working.
Exactly. Exactly. We like to overcomplicate things so much, but really when we simplify, you know,
Mhm.
when you are taking a course or a class like you, Bob Proctor,
Mhm.
you know, you find something that he ignited you. Right? He ignited
Mhm.
you and he
Mhm.
set you on a path that resonated with you, that made sense to you, that you could implement into your life in every
Mhm.
aspect, whether it's personal, whether it's business. And from there, there's another strategy that you really like. I could use this tool. This tool makes sense to me. Then you
Mhm.
personalize it as to align with who you are as a person. So now the
Yes,
tool is how you use the hammer, not how somebody else uses the hammer. And then in that, you are bringing yourself, your skills, your tools. And the person that will hire you to help them, and the person that believe in you because you believe in yourself.
exactly. Exactly. And I also believe that what I do is working. It has been working for me. It has been working for my clients. And, there's so many other coaches out there that teach Proctor, but
Yes.
every single one of us teaches it differently. And
You're
every
going to teach
single
it
one,
from your heart. So your energy, your signature, right? Yes.
exactly, your
Yes.
heart, your signature,
Yeah.
your experience,
Yeah.
because every single one of us has a different experience with the same uh, basic teachings, let's
Yes.
say, you know?
He's teaching the fundamental. Basically, he's giving you an instrument to play. How you
Yes,
play it is up to you.
it's up to you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think people realize we talk about fingerprints as being your identity, but people don't actually understand we actually have an energy signature that is our identity too. This is why you have so many energy healers that can do remote healing. People pick up people from different parts of the world because their energy signature connects, right?
Yeah.
And it is just as much as your fingerprint as your fingerprint is. So
Yeah.
it's very, very important that we actually do pay attention to our own signature, because that is the vibe we're putting out there, not somebody else's, your own.
Yeah. And this is also the vibe that other people will pick up on. And this is the vibe that other people will fall in love with. They will
Yeah,
fall in love with your vibe. They will fall in love with you, you know? And like I said, there's so many different coaches out there, and there's no competition at all because every single one of us
it's
explains it
unique.
differently.
Exactly. It's the how many guitarists are there out there in the world? And we love certain guitarists over others because the vibe in which they're playing resonates with us. So
Exactly.
your vibration is going to resonate with somebody who is on your frequency, and
Mhm.
those are the people you can help. And there is where you can reach your seven figures and also love getting up every morning doing it. So let's
Mhm.
talk about how are people going to find out about this when this event comes about? How are they going to know about it? How are they going to sign up for it? Tell us that. Also, your website and what kind of clientele are you looking for?
What was the last question,
What kind
Sarah?
of clientele you personally are looking for?
Oh, so I work with female entrepreneurs and I help them multiply their income by applying powerful mindset techniques, and they're based on Bob Proctor's teachings. So, what I have created is the Success by Design Summit, and people can sign up through they have to go to my website. It will be there, but will you also put my information down there, Sarah, so you
All
can?
the information will be there.
Okay.
Just give, if it's going to be up on your website, we can give you a website link and then people can find everything there. But also, what other platforms you're on
Yeah.
as well.
So my website is yourmagneticmindset.com. The link will also be on my website, but it will also be with Sarah, where you guys
Yes.
can sign up for it. And then you can find me on LinkedIn under Miriam Villegas 111, on Instagram under Miriam Villegas 111, and
Will you
on
just spell Miriam Vegas for people who
yes.
might not be able to spell like me?
It is MiriamVillegas, and then 111 on either Instagram or on LinkedIn. And then on Facebook, you can find me under Magnetic Mindset. This is the business page, and the links will be on there. You will find it. It's called Success by Design. We will have 28 speakers and one bonus speaker. You will find all the different strategies that you can basically have and implement to your business. And we will really show you that the strategy does not really matter. Success is 95% mindset and 5% strategy. So pick one, make it yours. Does it feel good? Yes. Okay, run with it. Believe it. Put your mindset in the right place. Align yourself, and that's the way to success. You just have to believe it. What is also super interesting is that with that Success by Design Summit, there's also a VIP upgrade, which gives you free strategy sessions with some top speakers, also with me. Then you will get a personalized blueprint, a manifestation blueprint for success, and you will get a ticket to my Business Success by Design class. That alone has a worth of $597, but it's free if you sign up for the VIP upgrade, which will be in July, on July 13th. This is when that class will take place. And all the other speakers are gifting something. And if you come on to the VIP, there's so many other things that you can get. We have one coach who is throwing in a free month of coaching with her. We have ebooks that are on there. We have strategy calls with different experts. So you really want to check out that VIP package. And the best thing is that all the earnings from the VIP package will go to March of Dimes, which is a charity that has helped me when my little one was in the NICU.
Wonderful. Love to hear that. And basically what you've done is you've put an orchestra together, and we get to hear all of the soloists. And then the transcendence of everything is how that orchestra energy is just, a crescendo there, which is wonderful. When do they actually start for the summit?
The summit will air on June 26th and it will go until July 9th. So we will have 2 weeks. Every day we will have 2 speakers. On July 11th, we have our bonus speaker, Janice Porter. She's a LinkedIn expert, so you don't want to miss that. And then on July 13th is the Business Success by Design class with me.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I love it. I love it when people put everything together, because what you're going to be hearing is all these beautiful different instrumentalists sharing their passion, their conviction, their energy, their how, their why. And again, you are going to align with somebody's energy that is speaking to you. And by listening and learning, I always say with these shows, listen, learn, apply, right? So you listen, you learn from it, and now you take that knowledge and apply it to your own life. Because this is the reason why we do what we do, is so you can apply those wonderful tidbits and knowledge that's going to help you in your life. Thank you so much for sharing here today. And again, the website, folks, it's the Your Magnetic mindset.com. And magnetic energy is very magnetizing. It's beautiful when you get that, you're drawn to someone, you're drawn to them like a magnet because of that energy and because of that vibe, and then it just can illuminate you and send you off into the stratosphere, which is wonderful. So I'm very honored to be a part of it. I'm so glad that you could be here today. You're going to see this whole platform being promoted under selfdiscoverywisdom.com events on the event page there, and the signing up link will be from there as well, as soon as she gets me all the information, and we'll be promoting it from there as well. Also, all you have to do is put in her name in my search engine on the Wisdom, and her show page will come up with all the information on there as well. So thank you so much, love, for being here today and for sharing all your wonderful wisdom.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for having me. It is an honor to be on your show.
Oh, a delight to have you. I just love it when people surrender to the wisdom of the divine energy that is here to guide us to be the best person we're meant to be, right? And it's when we give up dictating what we should be and we tap into who we really are meant to be, then life is worth getting up for in the morning. And leaving your pillow.
Yeah, leaving the pillow.
Thank you so much, Han. And to everyone else out there, please, we'll see you at the summit. Everybody here that is doing what they're doing is doing for your benefit, to help you really expand and excel in your own life, because the more your elevation rises, the better all humanity will be on this planet. So until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tab at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.